Why suffering? Luangpor Teean Suvano. Preface. Suffering is not something that arises spontaneously, or depends solely on fate. It occurs from causal factors. Physical suffering arises from diseases, toxins, hunger, heat, or sharp weapons, and others. On the other hand, mental suffering arises from delusion. The first form of delusion is getting lost in thoughts or being carried away by emotions, due to ignorance or unawareness of those thoughts and emotions. The second form of delusion is attachment, or being driven by desires, because of not understanding the truth. In other words, not realizing that everything is impermanent, hard to endure, and not the true self. Consequently, it is impossible to cling onto anything. Physical suffering is not difficult for most people to understand, while mental suffering is perceived to be caused by illness, old age, poverty, loss of beloved things, or separation from loved ones. In essence, it arises from experiencing instability in life, or encountering negative worldly conditions. In fact, even if we lose wealth, social status, or endure illness, our mind does not suffer unless we attach to those wealth, social status, and physical body. The less attached we are, the less our mind suffers when such situations occur. Although, completely letting go of things is challenging for human beings, it does not mean we are incapable of starting from this moment. While we are still unable to detach from everything, one thing we can do is let go of the thoughts and emotions that arise during times of instability. Even if we cannot prevent their occurrence, we have the ability to be aware of those thoughts and emotions, by being mindful and observing them. Once we truly see and become aware, those thoughts and emotions cannot overpower our mind, or cause mental suffering. Old age, illness, loss, and separation are things we cannot avoid, but we are able to protect our mind from suffering. This is one of the rights that we have since birth, the right not to suffer. However, we can truly exercise this right only when we cultivate awareness and deepen our realization of the truth, in order to expel both forms of delusion, starting with the delusion in thoughts and emotions, followed by the delusion of attachment. In other words, we cultivate mindfulness and wisdom respectively, until they reach their full potential. Luangpor Teean Suvano dedicated his life to guiding people towards the understanding that everyone has the right not to suffer, through the cultivation of mindfulness. By being aware of every movement, we can realize the truth that there are only rupa, physical form, and nama, mentality. Nothing is our true self or belongs to us. The various sensations that arise are simply agara, condition, not the self, not us, and not belonging to us. Even when dukkha, vedana, painful feeling, occurs, no one suffers. In other words, suffering exists, but no individual who suffers. The content of this book is teachings by Luangpor, which were published by followers on the occasion of the 9th anniversary of his passing. Its purpose is to motivate everyone to be diligent in our practice, enabling us to gain the greatest benefits of being born as a human in this lifetime. I hope everyone realizes that we have the right not to suffer, and we should exercise this right to eventually free ourselves from suffering. Propizon Vizalo. August 12, 2023. Let's listen to the Dhamma. Luangpor will speak to you. Listen to the teaching, and act upon it. Do not just listen for the sake of memory. Listen not only to understand, but to put it into practice, to experience it, and to embody it into our being. This is the practical aspect, not the theoretical understanding. We cultivate mindfulness. The primary practice is not to pray, worship, or wish to gain something out of curiosity. We do not need to think, but rather rely on our actions as guidance. Use our body and mind, which are referred to as citta, mind, cetasika, mental factors, rupa, physical form, and nibbana, enlightenment. These are paramathasaja, absolute truth, not samyati paniyati, conventional term. We bring our body and mind, rupa, to experience it directly, without any sense of seriousness, desire, or caution. We simply immerse ourselves in the action and allow our body to connect with awareness. Make them bound together. Bring our mind, consciousness, and awareness stick together. Previously, our body was trapped in ignorance or delusion, and our mind was lost in emotions. We allowed emotions to take control, becoming the master of our mind. Meanwhile, our body was attached to delusion, causing wasted actions, wasted walking, and wasted breathing. Every movement was useless, without any benefit gained. Thus, we must make use of our body and mind. Do not allow delusion to compound and carry them away. Instead, bring awareness to intervene with delusion. We must pay attention and look after our body and mind. Do not turn our back on them, but confront them. Transform our physical eyes into inner eyes to observe both body and mind. Do not hide or run away, but rather look at them right here. Watch them, call them out, and respond to them. Something is always intended to command us, but we do not necessarily need to obey. Be aware of it and call it out. For example, while we are sitting and practicing rhythmic movements, a thought of standing up arises. It is commanding us to do so. Recognize the thought but do not stand up as commanded. We can stand up on our own with awareness, rather than follow the thought. This is the mindfulness practice. Let awareness lead our actions, not thoughts, not feelings, or other factors. It is similar to monkey training, in which a monkey obeys only one specific person, its owner, or trainer. If someone else gives orders, the monkey becomes confused. Like when it climbs a coconut tree, and someone says, "Get a coconut over there." The monkey will be upset and shake the tree, refusing to do so. It waits for the owner to command. If the owner says, "Come on, try again. Get that coconut," the monkey will go and touch it. Then, the owner approves yes. It will grab that coconut right away. However, if anyone else tries to order it around, the monkey will stop and not respond. This is monkey training and also applies to elephants, cows, buffaloes, pigs, dogs, and other wild animals. Sometimes, the animals can recognize the command stop. They will immediately stop their action. To train ourselves is the same. We must allow mindfulness to take lead, take control, and always make it applicable. Be aware of what we are about to do, whether it is thinking, standing up, walking, or moving. Allow mindfulness to guide our body and mind. This is gamatthana, meditation. Without starting in this way, it is not gamatthana. It becomes cintayana, knowledge resulting from thoughts. And vipassanupakilesa, imperfections of insight, which rely on understanding and reasoning. The reasoning is not paramatha, absolute truth, but samyati paniyati, conventional term, which is different. Liking is one thing, disliking is another thing. But at paramatha level, they are all one. They are all awareness. Observing the body, we see this; observing thoughts, we also see this; observing vedana, feeling, we see this; observing actions, rupa, physical form, and nama, mentality, we see the same thing. It is not seeing something different. If we are mindful, the mental illusions will not arise often. Even if they do arise, just notice them and illusions will suddenly fade away. Moreover, if our mindfulness is powerful, it can serve as our inner eyes. They have the ability to see thoughts, emotions, and vedana. Our physical eyes cannot see them. They are limited to seeing only rupa, physical form. We must keep our inner eyes open, do not let them close. Closed means diluted. Meanwhile, awareness is being conscious through the opened inner eyes. Even with closed eyes, we can be simply aware. For example, when we practice rhythmic movements, we can still be aware of our moving hands with closed eyes in the dark, without any light. During walking meditation, we can also walk without looking at our feet. Just be simply aware. Be aware of the existing body. Let's practice this together. This is not a university study, finished with a graduation. But it is finished through our actions. Start with actions and end with actions. It is not concerned with beliefs, religions, genders, races, or languages. It is entirely about actions. Do not get caught up in any views, let them go. Take actions instead. Focus on actions, which are concrete and tangible. We have our own hands, and the movements they make are genuine. This is the real action. Likewise, our breath is with us all the time, but we rarely breathe with awareness. We tend to waste it. Even grabbing something can create awareness as well. Every movement we make, whether blinking or swallowing, can become tools for cultivating awareness. Practicing rhythmic movements may cause some body pains and aches. For newcomers, Vedana, feeling, can be more overwhelming, compared to those who have been training for a long time. They cannot sit or walk in a meditative posture for so long, due to the intensity of Vedana. Newcomers can easily get lost in these physical sensations, as Vedana tries to distract and lead them towards delusion. This is similar to infiltration or transformation, such as how diseases spread, and our bodies work to resist infection. The awareness and Vedana are similar. Vedana always uses its greatest power, to force us until we surrender. If we are not conscious or not aware of this, we will easily get caught up in Vedana. It will command us, become stronger, and make us submissive to it. We have to realize it. Newcomers sometimes get lost and fall into Vedana, experiencing physical pains, pleasure, and suffering. Some people may struggle with pain and suffering. They eventually raise the white flag. Do not surrender in this sense, observe it closely. The wisdom will manifest right here. Even if it is pleasure, do not smile at it just yet. Keep an eye on it. The observation will lead us to wisdom. Do not trust in Sukha Vedana, pleasant feeling, Dukkha Vedana, painful feeling. And even, Adukkhamasukha Vedana, neither pleasant nor painful feeling. Recognize them for what they really are. In fact, Sukha Vedana is just one condition, Dukkha Vedana is another, and Adukkhamasukha Vedana is yet another. These sensations are not the true self. So, we look at these feelings, observe them. When they reveal themselves, we have to see them. Actually, these are what we will encounter, when we take this path of the mind. We face obstacles along the way, much like when traveling from Buriram to Sukatho. We have to hike up mountains and pass through difficult journeys, until we finally arrive at Sukatho. We climb mountains and slowly go against the slope, just as a car gradually loses energy. Once we reach the top, we can take a breath of fresh air. The weather is different from down below. Similarly, in Dhamma practice, we sometimes go against the current, as Vedana pulls us down. Just be aware of it. Also, the mind that has been like a servant to thoughts, naturally thinks. Even though the mind and thoughts seem to be the same, they are not. The thought is one thing, seeing the thought is another. We can realize how our mind actually works. During awareness practice, thoughts, may suddenly appear as if emerging from a cave. The body is like a cave, with the mind inside. It comes out fast, enters fast, goes fast, and appears fast. We try to observe. Observe and then come back. Avoid justifying the thoughts as right or wrong. No matter what arises, smile and laugh at them, and return to awareness. Do not allow thoughts to become so strong that they can command us to give up, to practice, and even to sleep. We do as commanded, but it is not always right. Instead, we must perform these actions with cetana, volition, starting with cetana. Cetana hunghit kavegam mang vata me. Cetana is gamma, action. Without cetana, the actions have no consequences, which is called gahathatha gamma, casual act. If we act with cetana, it will lead to phala, fruition. This can be considered as magga, path. Knowing with cetana is magga, and awareness is phala. Our actions can become magga and phala. Raising our hands is gamma, and being aware of hand movements is magga and phala combined. We can really feel the sensation when putting our hands on our knees. We can also be aware when tilting and raising our hands up. During the practice of 14 rhythmic movements, or 15 movements counting with our hands on our knees, we precisely sense the gestures. The objects we perceive do exist, and they are not an illusion like what we see in crystal ball gazing. Crystal ball gazing is to create visions, by staring at an object, but it is unnecessary for us. Instead, we count on what is real, rupa, body, citta, and cetasika. We consider rupa as nimitta, sign or mental image. Rely on what is real to perceive the truth. Wisdom arises from observing rupa, nama, and sankhara, formation, gaya sankhara, bodily formation, and citta sankhara, mental formation. This is wisdom, which is thoroughly knowing the mass of sankhara, rather than thoroughly knowing nimitta from crystal gazing. Even seeing the Buddha or a Buddha image, is still nimitta. Thus, we must focus on the body or rupa. Consider rupa as nimitta, and be aware of nama, the mind or thinking mind. This is how we realize rupa and nama. See their conditions, recognize their pleasure and pain, and observe their actions. We also see sila, morality, samadhi, concentration, and panya, wisdom, arising in rupa and nama. Similarly, we see punya, virtue, and papa, non-virtue, manifesting in them, not in the temple or in Luangpor. In fact, both punya, virtue, and papa, non-virtue, exist in rupa and nama. Rupa and nama are capable of doing good things. The cultivation of mindfulness is also a good deed. Being aware of our actions does not do any harm. It causes no harm at all, as we remain conscious of our body, speech, and mind. When thoughts arise, simply return to awareness. Do not allow thoughts to command us. Recognize them immediately, just like putting out the fire before the wind blows. Whenever the fire breaks out, extinguish it right away. Through experience in extinguishing, eventually it may not arise. In the end, we may experience a sense of calm, which is called nibbana. Nibbana is within our mind. We can also recognize it through our breath. It exists right here. Do not look for nibbana anywhere else. This is why we have to be aware and observe our body and mind, considering them as nimitta. Bring awareness in our field work, that is the primary practice. Allow actions to guide us rather than reasoning. This is Gumatthana, the base of action. It is a complete learning, similar to the university education, in which we can gain knowledge and skills to work. Nevertheless, the complete learning of life is about the body and about awareness. It is accessible to everyone, whether young or old, male or female, monk or laity, no matter what nationality, beliefs, or religions. This is all about the body and mind. Everyone has a body and mind, regardless of their nationality. We experience awareness, ignorance, vedana, thoughts, and dhamma, which can appear as positive or negative. They all arise within our mind. Whether it is anger, heat, cold, hunger, headache, or stomachache, these sensations are equal as they are all vedana. Thus, let's have fun with it. Learning the truth is enjoyable. We are observing the real things, such as really seeing the body, really seeing Vedana, and really seeing thoughts. When thoughts arise, they can become so overwhelming that we cannot resist. Thoughts may even blend with emotions. We cannot overcome them without strong mindfulness and awareness. We always sense, ittaram mana, pleasant condition, as positive, and, anittaram mana, unpleasant condition, as negative. Pleasure is positive, while displeasure is negative. They shift back and forth continuously, and they become stronger. However, if we look carefully into these sensations, they will lead us to wisdom. Both pleasure and displeasure can turn into wisdom. Thus, we have begun, on the path. For example, during rhythmic movements practice, thoughts may carry us away. Turn these thoughts into awareness. Whether we experience suffering or happiness, we can change both into awareness. Even heat and cold, ache and fatigue, can also be changed into awareness. Awareness has the ability to transform any conditions that occur in our body and mind. When we are hungry, we may eat until we are full. However, turning hunger into fullness is just an action with no benefit. Instead, we have to be aware. Both hunger and fullness are bodily conditions or agara, not a self. Similarly, heat and cold, ache and fatigue, are all just bodily conditions. They belong to the body, not to the self. When we feel pleasant or unpleasant with these conditions, we become lost in delusion. To gain wisdom, we must realize that they are just bodily conditions. Anger, anxiety, and sadness are mental conditions, or agaro likewise. Pleasure that is derived from fulfillment is also a mental condition, not a self. We allow these conditions to develop their influential power, commanding us to keep climbing higher, without ever stopping. If we look at it, we will see. Whatever we see, it all becomes awareness. Whatever we see, it creates awareness. Awareness provides us with answers, and guides us towards life's solution. Life can be revealed. Still, some people are unable to do so, such as those who follow anger or drown in pain. They cannot get over the feelings. For them, life has no way out. It is blocked as a dead end. If we have awareness, life can be revealed. It has passed. It has gone and become vimukti, freedom. With awareness, we can approach Magga and Phala immediately. Moreover, studying what we see with our eyes, hear with our ears, and touch with our hands, is studying the truth. We simply realize whatever happens, and allow them to pass. We can even get through thoughts as well. Just be aware. Let's cultivate awareness. It is necessary for us to practice. Do not seek any reasons or attach to any thoughts. It is not like that. Take actions. Focus on actions instead. Experience them and embody them into awareness. Allow the body and mind to connect with awareness. So, Luangpor started by saying that, at the beginning, if the body is connected to ignorance, then all the causes of ignorance are with the body. If the mind is connected to ignorance, then all the causes of ignorance are with the mind. Ignorance overwhelms us. We may ask someone whether it is awareness or delusion that has played a greater role in their life up until now. Actually, let's not go that far. Let's take only this hour. During walking meditation, we can take about 3,000 to 4,000 steps per hour. If we walk just right with a suitable body swing, we will probably take about 4,000 steps. But will we be aware of every step? Perhaps we are distracted for half of it, and are aware of the other half. In rhythmic movements practice, if we move our hands just right with a suitable gesture, we can become aware of a rhythmic movement in each second. Feel it. Feel it like a clock ticking. Tick, tick, tick. We can be aware of 3,000 to 4,000 motions. Sometimes, we may be more distracted than aware, with 4,000 to nearly 5,000 movements per hour. If we observe closely, Delusion can be frightening. While we continue practicing awareness, we may suddenly notice the thoughts, and realize that we had never seen them before. It took us 30 years to eventually see our thoughts. We almost died, barely survived. It can be a shocking realization when we see them. Previously, we had never recognized delusion and thoughts, as we believed we could live with them. We could think anything, even insane and ridiculous ones. Once we become aware of thoughts, we can realize how much our life is affected by them. It is like walking on the edge of a cliff, where we can easily slip out and fall. If we are careless, we do not survive. This is very terrifying. The mind is capable of thinking about anything, including harmful thoughts. It keeps thinking without limits. Even when we are angry, we eat and sleep with anger. Sometimes, it is overwhelming to the point that we cannot eat and sleep at all, but we still hold on to that anger. How can we be affected that much? The right of non-anger exists. Why don't we exercise this right? Also, the right of non-delusion is here. Why don't we experience it? We kept accepting every feeling that came our way. It used to be like that. Once we practice awareness, it makes our hair stand on end. We are granted a new life, a fresh start. It is called Nawa Shiwan. Nawa means new, Shiwan means life. It is truly a brand new life, not old anymore. This is the power of awareness. However, awareness is different from delusion. Every time we get lost in delusion, our life becomes messy, not new at all. Like a clean white cloth, when carrying thoughts, it becomes dirty, stained, spotted, and gloomy. The Buddha once said, a monk who is immersed and engrossed in thoughts, is considered to break his precepts, making them impure and tainted. Such is the power of thoughts over us. We may mistakenly believe that we are skilled practitioners, just because we walk slowly, sit with our eyes closed, wear traditional monk or white robes, and shave our head. Nevertheless, these external actions are not enough. We must take care of our body and mind and remain aware. Sometimes, we boast about our religious doctrine, sex, or status. We also identify ourselves to be attendants of this temple, or students of that particular master. It is not like that. Awareness is what truly purifies us. It is not about praying through any worship or ritual. Try to be aware of ourselves. When thoughts arise, recognize them, before they lead to immoral actions caused by ignorance. Similarly, awareness always presents, before it becomes meritorious. Luangpor challenge you to do it. This is what the Buddha taught, not any rituals. We tend to value worship and religious ceremonies all along. We are good at these things. Like some environmentalists, they are activists who focus on advocacy, but cannot even grow plants, vegetables, or preserve anything. This is not how it should be. Actions are required, do them well. Mindfulness practice is taught through action, rather than knowledge. It is easy to teach someone to be knowledgeable. They just explain about, two Bahugara Dhamma, virtues of great assistance, which consists of sati, mindfulness, the ability to recollect, and sampajanya, clear comprehension, the ability to be aware. By emphasizing this 2 to 3 times, we can certainly understand and remember it. When put to the test, the question is, what are the Dhamma that provide us with such great assistance? We can say that sati and sampajanya are like our parents, providing great assistance to us. We can answer in this sense and pass the certificate. This is how we gain knowledge, but we still do not know how to put it to use. Where exactly is awareness? This is why we are here. We do not need to talk. Just allow the body to connect with awareness. Be aware of it, without using any words. Bring the body to feel and experience awareness directly. Know it. Recognize it. Be conscious before speaking, doing, and thinking. Likewise, be aware while speaking, doing, and thinking. Mindfulness and awareness will suddenly come together at the same time. Complete. Sati and Sampajanya do not separate, they exist together. When we flip our hand, we are aware of it. Even before flipping our hand, we can feel it. While flipping our hand onto its edge, we recognize it. This is a sense of awareness. Raise our hand up. Feel it. Bring it here. Be aware of it. Know it. Know it again. Know it lightly. Know it fresh. And know it purely. Spiritual Tips for Meditators. Part 1. By Luangpor Teean. The Path of Mindfulness. Now I am going to teach you the way to meditate. Please relax and feel comfortable, because what I am going to teach you is based on something you already have in your mind. The teaching that I am going to instruct you in is based on something which is real and genuine, the truth. And the truth cannot be deceived. It cannot be deceived by neither the master nor the students. The master cannot deceive the student and the student cannot deceive the master, once either of them has realized or understands the truth. This is a technique that can be understood by everybody. All of us have mind and body. We also have mindfulness. Mindfulness is a quality of mind that we can cultivate and develop, but it is already in our minds. Once we are mindful or once we are awakened to mindfulness, all of us are the same, but if we do not have mindfulness or if we are not mindful, we are different. Meditating, especially developing mindfulness, does not require special time designated specifically for this technique. It can be practiced all the time in our daily lives. It does not demand special time, mainly because mindfulness is already in our minds. It can be developed through our daily activities. If we practice properly, we will feel that our lives are normal. We cannot practice for others but have to practice for ourselves. We cannot learn from others but have to learn from direct experience. We have to learn by realizing the truth in our minds. The meditation cannot be achieved from memorizing texts or reading books. We have to experience the reality in ourselves. For example, when we think, we have to see, observe, and experience the reality of thoughts, how they arise and how they fade away. These can be learned through direct experience, not through reading books or memorizing texts. What I am trying to convey is what I have realized from direct experience, not from analytical thoughts or knowledge of texts. This realization is based on direct experience that everybody can achieve or realize for himself. When we practice on what we already have. We have body and mind. We practice by using our body as an object, our body's movement. When our body moves, when our hand moves, we should just be aware. The hand is real, the body is real, and our awareness of them is real and can be cultivated. The more we practice, the more awareness we accumulate. This way of practicing asks us to accumulate awareness, until it becomes the dominant quality of our minds. Once everybody has total awareness, everybody will be the same in the sense that their lives are normal. But if we do not have awareness, we behave differently out of hatred, greed, and delusion, which disrupts our lives so that we contradict each other, preventing harmony and creating disunity. So, the point is how to cultivate awareness. The key to Buddhist meditation is cultivating awareness, and I am going to instruct you how. Once we understand and practice by ourselves, we will know ourselves better and live our lives properly. Now I will demonstrate. Everybody, please place your palms on your thighs, sit comfortably, and open your eyes. First turn your right hand onto its edge from your thigh, raise it to the height of your chest, and move it to your abdomen. Turn your left hand from your thigh, raise it to height of your chest, and move it to your abdomen. Move your right hand to your chest, move it out, lower it to your thigh, and turn it down. Raise your left hand to your chest, turn it out, lower it, and turn it down. Again. Please try to be aware of every movement, aware, not focused. Feel, Feel the sensation of your body. Just make it natural. Just feel it. That is the way to develop awareness naturally. Sometimes thoughts will sneak into our minds, just open yourself up to them but don't follow them. Once we are aware of our thoughts, we return to our body, to the movement of our hands. This method does not encourage one to stop thinking but just to be aware of it. In fact, we cannot stop thinking because it is the nature of our mind to think. We should be open to all kinds of thoughts, but do not follow them or repress them. Just be aware. With awareness, we will be firm and not react to our minds, either positively or negatively. This is the introduction. I would like you to try, to practice, to feel yourselves and see how it affects your mind. When you place your hand on your thigh, do you know where your hand is? Once you know where your hand is, you have already cultivated knowingness, that is to know, to feel where your hand is. And the practice of mindfulness is based on this awareness. When you turn your hand on your thigh, do you know the position of your hand? You know where your hand is, right? Raise your hand. Is it on your thigh? Where is it? Who knows the position of your hand? You or other people? Can anybody know for you? Is it only you that can be aware of where your hand is? No, 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 be aware, be aware, be aware. Do not force your mind to focus or concentrate on every minute of your movements, just feel every step intervally, and don't focus your mind to feel like a straight line of feeling. That's not the right way. The only thing you have to do is be aware. Don't analyze or try to reason what you are going to do or why you are having such thoughts. Don't analyze or rationalize any of your thoughts. Do not make judgments, whether this thought is good or not, just be open to it, be aware of it, with no blame, no repression, and no stopping, just be receptive to the thoughts. This will enable awareness to develop quickly. Keep practicing, keep doing, and keep being aware of your body's movement. It does not need to be the movement of your hand, but can be the movement of your breath. When you breathe in and breathe out, these are also your body's movements. When you walk, try to be aware of your walk, be aware of whatever your movement is. Be aware of every position, and whatever you do try to be aware of only one posture. When you walk, just be aware of your walking, do not be aware of your breath. But if you want to be aware of your breath, that's okay as long as you choose only one object. Do not use too many objects or they will confuse you. The point is that whatever thoughts arise, just be aware, and come back to your body's movement. Do not be caught up in your thinking process or your thoughts. If you feel tired or tense after sitting for a long time, change your posture. While you change your posture, please be mindful, don't change it hastily out of impulse or out of unmindfulness. During your walking meditation, you can either fold your arms across your chest or clasp your hands behind your back. Keep your hands properly, it will enable you to walk slowly with mindfulness. About 8 to 12 paces of walking will do for the meditation. Do not walk for too long a length or your mind will be easily distracted. If you walk at my speed, in 1 hour you will walk 4,000 paces. If you know every pace, you already have 4,000 units of knowingness in 1 hour. It will accumulate and can change the quality of your mind. Anyway, if you become distracted or you forget and become unmindful, when you walk or move your hands, that's okay. Do not blame yourself or feel unhappy when this happens. Just let it go and start again. When a thought disturbs your mind, let it be. Do not try to repress or suppress it. Just feel open to it. It will fade away automatically. This is the nature of the mind that we can realize through meditation. Now, let's try to experience it ourselves. After practicing for an hour, you may come back and we will have a question and answer session for 30 minutes. How was your practice? When you felt distracted or caught up in your mind, did you see the difference between them? Did you realize when you were caught up in your thoughts? Did you see the difference when you came back to your body's movement, or became aware of the movement of your hands or walking? Once you did that, did you see that the thoughts just ceased or passed away? When you are caught up in your thoughts or overwhelmed by emotions, you may forget to move your hand, or you may move it but have no full awareness of your body. That's okay, but try to return to your hand's movement or to your walk. Once you are aware of your body's movement, you are already a practitioner. A Dhamma practitioner develops awareness. This is the only duty of the practitioner. The same goes for feeling. If you feel tense, physical pain, or tired, do not be overwhelmed by the unpleasant feelings. Just come back to your body's movement or just be aware and see the painful feelings. In other words, don't become lost, caught up in or overwhelmed by these unpleasant feelings, but be aware. Awareness will enable your mind and your life to go ahead without being interrupted by thoughts or feelings or any kind of disturbance. Thoughts will arise, feelings will disturb you, but if you have total awareness, you can go ahead without being stopped or blocked by these hindrances. You will go ahead, go straight ahead. For beginners, just cultivating awareness is enough. Do not try to achieve or gain anything. Do not expect any realization, any insight, or wisdom from the practice. Just awareness is enough for you at the present stage, and it will enable you to go ahead without any problems or difficulties. For the beginners, you may not sit longer if you wish, and the awareness may develop slowly, not smoothly. That's okay. Just try to keep practicing, and this will enable mindfulness or awareness to develop. Do not feel bad when you feel you are caught up in your thoughts, or in pleasant or unpleasant feelings, or you become forgetful of the practice. That's okay. Do not blame yourself. Do not feel depressed. Just come back to the practice, come back to be aware of your body's movement. When you keep practice, you keep accumulating awareness. You will begin to see, to realize, the nature of your mind. You will see that thought are one thing and mindfulness is another. The thoughts or feelings are not you, not yours, not me, nor mine. Previously, you may have thought that the thoughts are your thoughts, but in fact, they are not your thoughts. The thoughts are just there, but they are not yours. And this you can see, because of mindfulness. Mindfulness will separate you from the thought, so you can observe the thought without being identified with it, or take it to be you or yours. In the sutra, the Buddha advises us to contemplate, to be aware of body, feelings, and mind or the thoughts. These three aspects, body, feeling, and thoughts, are already with us, they are not something outside of us. We can use them for our spiritual well-being. In the past, when we wanted to stand up, we stood up instantly out of habit. But if we practice and develop mindfulness, before standing up, we will be aware of the desire to stand up. Thus we will stand up mindfully. We can apply this approach or this attitude to whatever activity we do, and our lives will be on the path to mindfulness. Meditation's priority is to develop awareness first. It is the crucial factor that needs to be developed during the practice. This is important because we are already good at analytical thinking. But we have to practice another quality of the mind, awareness. It will lead us to a realization through direct experience, that cannot be achieved through thoughts or the analytical mind. Any questions? If you want to ask, please ask based upon the experience that you have already had from your practice in the past few hours. Do not ask through the analytical mind. Question: the mind that gives rise to thought, the mind that's mindful, and the mind that is aware, are these minds the same? Answer: practically speaking, you can see the three. You can see the scattered thoughts, or you can observe the mind. This can happen when you are aware of your body. When you are aware of your body and a thought arises, your mindfulness will come and watch and be aware of your thoughts. You can see the difference, differentiate between your thoughts and mindfulness or awareness. Without being aware of your body's movement first, it is difficult to see the difference between your thoughts and your mind. Question: when you observe a thought, is the thought in the past? Answer: once you are aware of a random thought, it is in the past, but if you are not aware of it, it is the present. The random or unintentional thought is the kamma, a kind of action, a mental action that can lead to other consequences, either good or bad. If you become aware of it, awareness will halt that mental action, thus getting rid of whatever consequences that might have happened. Question: is this practice of using your body as a meditative object for the training of samadhi? Answer: the awareness can lead to calmness, if you are caught up in or dwell on the calmness that is the samatha, calmness meditation. But if you lift your mind from the calmness and observe the calmness, then it is insight meditation. So it depends on how you deal with calmness. If you dwell in the calmness, it is a calmness meditation. If you observe the calmness, it will lead to insight meditation. Question: is this awareness the same as the Buddha's? Answer: the awareness mentioned above is the same as the quality of Buddhahood. It will lead to total insight. This kind of practice also includes the threefold training: morality, concentration, and wisdom. Question: do you mean that awareness includes threefold training? Answer: the threefold training is not awareness itself, but is based on awareness. You cannot keep precepts without awareness. Awareness will enable you to keep the precepts, sila. And awareness will enable you to develop concentration, samadhi, and to gain insight, panya. We need not waste time developing sila, samadhi, panya by different ways, but go directly to develop awareness, then sila, samadhi, panya will take place. According to the Buddhist canon, the Buddha said, self-awareness is the origin of wisdom, the parent, the source of righteousness. But unknowingness or unawareness is the source or the parent of all evils. Question: nowadays, young children seem to be practicing awareness all the time. Even we, when we are exposed to something new, seem to be more aware. It seems as if we come to this world practicing awareness, then we start thinking, then we have the same thoughts over and over, and that turns off our awareness. Why is this happening? Answer: it is because we have eyes, nose, ears, mouth, and body, the 5 sensual bases, and mind, the 6th base, to understand the world. We use these 6 bases to have contact with the world, and this leads us to a lot of concocted mind. We think a lot because we have a lot of contact with the outside world. That's why our minds become busy and keep thinking all the time. We ignore another quality of the mind, awareness. That's why we have to come back again, because we have ignored it for such a long time. We have occupied ourselves with thinking, because of our contact with the outside world through the 5 sensual bases. Awareness will liberate us from all unpleasant events and unfetter our minds. It will liberate us from all hindrances and fetters. I can assure you that awareness will rescue our lives. Regardless of nationality or race, we can be united. Regardless of our differences, we have one thing in common: awareness. Awareness is in every person. So, I would like to encourage you to develop awareness, so that we will go beyond nationality and race. After the practice, do you feel that you can get in touch with awareness, the awareness in your mind? It is an quality inherent in you, that leads you to get in touch with it. Question: it's very hard to slow my mind down. Answer: we are not going to stop the thinking process, we are not going to fight it. If you fight it, you are going to be tired, because it is very difficult. Just to be aware of it, just observe it, and it will pass away on its own. Do not try to get rid of it. If you try to get rid of it, you will feel exhausted. Sometimes, you may find your mind was more scattered during the practice than during your normal daily life. The more you practice, the more your mind is scattered. Sometimes this happens to practitioners, but that's normal. Just be aware of it and ignore it, and try to be aware of your body's movement. The more you keep coming back, the more awareness will accumulate. Just keep coming back. Do not try to fight your thoughts. June 1, 1997. Cultivating awareness. The Buddha said that there are 5 hindrances to meditation: the first is drowsiness, the second is agitation or restlessness, the third is doubt, the fourth is sensual desire, and the last is ill will, hatred, or irritation. Doubt means that one feels uncertain, whether the practice is right or wrong, so he just stays on the edge, and cannot commit himself to any kind of practice. You may encounter any of the 5 hindrances. That's alright, it's even beneficial. Try to observe the hindrance rather than following it, or being overwhelmed by it. To observe is to keep your mind from identifying with these 5 hindrances. For example, when you feel sleepy, instead of lying down and following the drowsiness, just try to observe it, and the awareness will lift your mind from being drowsy. Thus you can learn how to interact with restlessness, or with agitation. They are not bad. They can teach. Yet, there are people who, with total awareness in their minds, can go straight through their practice without being caught up in, or dwelling on the 5 hindrances. Awareness not only helps us overcome the 5 hindrances, but will also lead us beyond delusion to insight, or wisdom. When one is unmindful, unaware, or becomes caught up in one's thoughts, one cannot see things clearly and is overwhelmed by delusion. Yet once one becomes aware or free from the 5 hindrances, one can go further to experience insight. Because one accumulates awareness all the time, and awareness enables one to see things as they are, not distorted by bias or scattered thoughts, so that one can achieve insight. The insight that can be experienced from this method of meditation is the insight into the body and mind. You can see that the sense of us or me, in fact, is only the combination of body and mind. You will understand the nature of rupa, the form or body, and nama, the mind. You will see how they interact with each other. With this insight you will have a clear understanding that goes beyond the concept of me and mine, just body and mind, not the sense of self. With the insight into body and mind, you will know and be able to differentiate between thoughts and awareness. So far, you cannot differentiate between these two because they come together, but if you have insight from awareness, the thoughts and the one who thinks or observes can be differentiated. Such realization or such direct experience is what we call wisdom, because it liberates us from hindrances and suffering. It is wisdom, and at the same time it is magga, the path. It is both the path and the end, the wisdom. If you practice properly, you will see that at the beginning it is mindfulness, in the middle it is mindfulness, and at the end it is also mindfulness. It is both means and end, path and wisdom. What I just said is quite ahead of you. It is a state that you may not have experienced yet, but I wanted to inform you of what you are going to realize, if you practice properly and continuously. Please try to concern yourselves with what you are practicing now. Just be aware, and once you keep practicing, results will come on their own without any attempt on your part. Therefore, put your effort into the practice. Awareness from this practice will get rid of delusion. The more you are aware, the less you are unaware. Unawareness is identical to delusion or ignorance. If you accumulate awareness through this method, it will form a solid base for keeping moral precepts, for concentration, and for wisdom. You will live your life morally once you have full awareness. At the same time, you will also have calmness or concentration, once you are fully aware of what you are doing. Meanwhile, insight can take place with awareness. Thus, awareness can lead us to the totality of life, the totality of education or training. Awareness or mindfulness enables us to awaken. An enlightened one is one who has total awareness, total mindfulness. Buddha said many times that the Arahant, the enlightened one, is one who has full mindfulness and awareness in every moment of his life. His experience is like traveling in a freeway on which he can move ahead without any obstructions. Mindfulness is like this: you are not caught up in any thoughts, but move straight ahead in your life. You can learn a lot from this practice. You can understand a lot of things in Luangpor Teean's mind. It is as if your life is the texts, your practice is the texts, and you can gain a lot of knowledge from it. Your experience is the source of knowledge that will enrich you. I would like to persuade you to see for yourself. Try to see it, experience it, and it is within your capability to understand it. I would like to encourage you to learn more and more from the practice. This is not some kind of propaganda or an advertisement, but just an encouragement. Practice like this is sort of forming a new habit of awareness. Right now, we have the habit of unawareness, of doing things out of habit without awareness, but if we accumulate awareness, a new habit will be formed, and whatever we do, after we practice properly, we will be aware of our daily movements. But if we do not practice, we will easily fall back to delusion, to our forgetful habits. So, please try to accumulate awareness and try to be mindful. Another point that I would like to emphasize is that, awareness is not a quality confined to myself or monopolized by anyone. It's a quality inherent in all of you. You are all capable of increasing and developing your mindfulness, not only in this room but also in your daily lives. That's all I would like to share with you. The only thing you should do is to realize it yourselves. What I talked about is not for you to memorize but for you to experience yourselves through practice. Both of us will stay here for more than a month. Should you have any problems, please come and talk with us. Question: awareness is not limited to our hands movements only, right? Can it be expanded to things like scratching itches? Answer: that's right. Whatever you do, whether coarse or subtle, breathing or swallowing saliva, or even when you just raise your hand to get something, be mindful. Just be aware of whatever you are doing. That's the proper way to practice. Question: if one moves without awareness, is that ignorance? Answer: yes, that is a kind of ignorance. There are many kinds of ignorance. The most fundamental ignorance is of the things that cause suffering to you, whatever kind of thoughts or understanding that troubles you, or creates suffering for you. Question: the Buddha's awareness is the same awareness that we are talking about, except his awareness is continuous, right? Answer: yes, it is the same, but the awareness of the Buddha is not only continuous, but is also awareness in its totality, awareness that replaces ignorance to the extent that there is no residual of ignorance left. But for us, we still have ignorance, our awareness still broken. Question: what is the difference between the awareness of Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arahant? Answer: the awareness of these four enlightened beings are different in terms of degree, and also in terms of quality. The first stage of enlightened being, Sotapanna, has awareness that can get rid of the strong sense of self and uncertainty. The second stage of enlightened one, Sakadagami, can eradicate sensual desire and repulsion almost completely. For the Anagami, sensual desire and repulsion are eliminated completely. It is the different degrees of awareness that leads to different qualities. It is as though we are climbing up a ladder. In the first stage of enlightenment, the awareness is less powerful than that of the Arahant, or the last stage of enlightenment. For example, when we get angry at something, we will think about it over and over again. But for the enlightened one, especially the third one, Anagami, once anger occurs, it just happens and he can let go of it. It just occurs one time and then he goes beyond the anger. Anger is eradicated by total awareness, or wisdom. It's like a heated iron, once we touch it, we should feel the heat and never touch it again. For the enlightened one, anger is like a hot iron, once he touches it, he is aware of the heat from his anger, and will never return to and identify with it again. But ordinary people, not aware that anger is like a heated iron, just touch it over and over again without realizing that it is very harmful. The awareness that I mentioned, is the awareness that can enable us to see no self in the body, no self in feelings, no self in emotions, no self in thoughts. It is the awareness that can liberate us from suffering. Please do not just accept what I told you, see it for yourselves and practice until you can know it for yourselves. Then nobody can deceive you, nobody can mislead you, because you have already experienced it. What we should do is pay respect to the Dhamma, the highest refuge. You should not pay highest respect to me or to anybody else, but to the Dhamma that is already in everybody. Please pay respect to the Dhamma in ourselves. Be aware at every moment. When you go home, try to maintain your awareness at all times. June 1, 1997. Knowing yourself. As I told you earlier, all of us are friends even though we have just met here, because we have been friends since our birth into this world. In Buddhism, friend has a broad meaning. All of us are friends because we are sentient beings. We all share the cyclic existence, all of us share birth, decay, aging, and, finally death as human beings. That is why we are all friends. Another thing that we have in common is that each of us has body and mind. Each of us has common characteristics. We all have 6 senses fields, we all have feelings, we all have emotions, and all of our mental activities and our physical bodies are subject to the same characteristics: impermanence, suffering, and no real self, no permanent self. These are the 3 common characteristics that all of us share. But there is something that makes us different from each other. That is our mental formations. We have different ideas, we have different opinions, we respond to our surroundings in different ways. It is our mental formations that makes us different from each other. However, these mental formations can be transformed, making us one, the same as a person. Previously, I said to many of us here that, despite our different characteristics, although there are various kinds of people, we can be the same if we have mindfulness.
May all beings be at ease, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born. May all beings be